On this drive time, I want to talk about the 3 characteristics of good debt. Yes, I said that correct. There is actually a thing called good debt. Debt that if you own it, if you have it, can actually increase your wealth and help you rather than hurt you. So what are those 3 characteristics? The first characteristic is, are you using that debt to buy an asset that you believe will grow in value moving forward? So an example of that would be real estate. If you bought a piece of real estate that you have done your homework, your due diligence, and you believe that it will actually grow and increase in value, using debt to buy that asset can be good debt. The second characteristic, and this is so important, simple but very important, is can you afford to make payments on that debt? You know, you look at that and you say, well, that's really easy, that's simple, of course you should think about that, but a lot of people don't. Look back in 06, 07, 08 in California, the Northeast, people were buying homes they couldn't afford because they just wanted to be a part of the appreciation boom, and they found out they couldn't afford to make those payments, and they actually lost their homes prior to the collapse just because they couldn't afford the payments. So you have to be able to afford the payments on that debt for it to be good debt. The third characteristic is a little bit of a wild card. It's the one that if you have this, it really kind of covers all issues as it relates to debt, and that is, can you afford to go pay that debt off at any time? In other words, using debt when you actually don't even need the debt, that is the best type. So where would that come into play? An example would be like, let's say I'm going to go buy a new car and it's $50,000. I have $50,000 in the bank. I could write a check, but the car dealership is offering 6-year, 0 interest financing. I am using that debt as a tool to be able to continue making money on my $50,000 in the bank. So if I can borrow that money for free, in essence, and I can pay that back over the next 6 years using that $50,000. In other words, I'm still going to use that same money. I'm just going to pay it out over time. If I can still earn money, then I'm winning there, right? So if I can still earn 2, 3, 4% on my $50,000 while it's in the bank and while I pay that car off, at the end of that payoff, I'll still have some interest earnings, some money left in that account, and that's a good thing. So that is a little bit of a wild card, but if you have that ability to pay and you use debt to your advantage, typically when it's like a low interest or a 0 interest financing type deal, that's a characteristic of good debt. So don't always be afraid of debt. Don't look at debt like all of it is bad. There is good debt, and if you can learn how to use that properly, you can really benefit from it. You can use it to your advantage. So we'll talk more about this on future drive times, but I just want to cover those initially so that you understand good debt versus bad debt.